Who can serve the Lord? Before beginning my message, I want to read you from Gospel of John, chapter 5, from 17 to 18. But Jesus answered them, My Father worketh hitherto, and I work. Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but said also that God was his Father, making himself equal with God. So when we say that Jesus is Son of God, means that he is equal to God. For that reason, you must accept that Jesus is God before hearing my message. Who can serve the Lord? I want to read you from Exodus chapter 2, verse 11 to 15. One day, after Moses had grown up, he went out to where his own people were and watched them at their hard labor. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people, glancing this way and that, and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. The next day he went out and saw two Hebrews fighting. He asked the one in the wrong, Why are you hitting your fellow Hebrew? The man said, Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian? Then Moses was afraid and thought, What I did must have become known. When Pharaoh heard of this, he tried to kill Moses, but Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in Midian, where he sat down by a well. Who can serve the Lord? So, Moses, he wanted to serve the Lord by his own force, by his power. He wanted to be judge for the people of Israel without the Lord sending him. He was very proud of himself. He had too much selfishness. So he killed the Egyptian and he hid him in the sand. And then he wanted to be judge for the Hebrews when he saw them fighting with each other. So one of them said to him, You will kill me like you killed the Egyptian. So Moses afraid, and he fled from Pharaoh and went to live in Midian. The Lord took him away in the desert because the Lord wanted to train him so he'll become the real man of God. He wanted to break his spirit. He was very proud of himself. He was very selfish. He wanted to kill the Egyptian and make judgment with his own power. Because it's written, not with power, not with force, but by what my spirit, said the Lord of the armies. So the Lord took him. He trained him. He broke his everything. It wasn't good in his life. He trained him for 40 years. And after that, we see the result. In Exodus chapter 3, from verse 4 to 12. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face, because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them out of the land into a good spacious land, and a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israel has reached me, and I've seen the way of Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israel out of Egypt? And God said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. So after the Lord trained him 40 years in the desert, the same man that killed the Egyptian, the same man that wanted to be judge for people of Israel, the same man said, who am I? After the Lord, he broken his spirit. After he trained him to be humble, he removed all selfishness in him. He said, who am I? This was the result. The Lord took him out from all. He was very proud of himself. Everything he removed from his life. The same thing happened to me. I accepted the Lord. I was born again 1987. But the Lord trained me 21 years. Now He sent me to give you this message. So we can serve the Lord with our knowledge. We can serve the Lord with if we have theology 3-4 years. We must be trained in the desert. And we can't come out from the desert. We must always stay in the desert, so we can hear His voice. And even if we are trained, we must always obey the Lord. For that reason, I will read also from Numbers chapter 20, verse 7 to 12. The Lord said to Moses, take the staff, and you and your brother Aaron gather the assembly together. Speak to that rock before their eyes, and will pour out its water. You will bring water out of this rock for the community, so they and their livestock can drink. So Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence, just as he commanded him. He and Aaron gathered the assembly together in front of the rock, and Moses said to them, listen, you rebels, must we bring you water out of this rock? Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of Israelites, you will not bring this community into the land I give them. So Moses, he didn't listen to the Lord. The Lord told him to talk to this rock, and he struck it 2 times. Struck the rock. So he didn't enter to the promised land for that reason. You also, even if you are trained, if you are servant of God, you must obey God always. After preaching people, you will not be rejected. So be aware, be careful, not after the Lord trained you to be rejected. You can preach all people, but after you will be rejected, like the preachers that are doing now. They are doing, in the beginning, they began to serve the Lord with all their hearts, and after they follow money, they want to gain money, and they fall down like they don't obey the Lord. So be careful. The Lord, we can't change the Lord. Because for the message of Christ, is foolish that those are perishing, but who are being saved is power of God. So take the power of God in your life, and the Lord will give you many blessings. So God bless you.